Greetings, sir. We are the Group 1, the first presenter that are going to report this lesson entitled The Science of Sociology. This contains the importance and the branches of sciences, and that will be presented with my co-members.
The science of sociology. Human beings are social animals, needing others for existence. They rely on group for growth, nurturance, and development. Sociology traces its beginning to as early as the 18th century. It has evolved into one of the most important social sciences of our time. This chapter focuses on the nature and scope of sociology, the relation of sociology to other social sciences, sociological imagination and history and development of sociology. Nature and scope of sociology. From infancy to adulthood, man has close contact with a group that give his life support and meaning. Sociology as a field of study is concerned with the study of people in a group or social context. It promises to help man understand what is happening to him in relation to his environment.
Sociology as a science. Sociology is derived from the Latin word socius, meaning companion with other, and the Greek word logos, meaning study of reason to describe the new science of social life. Since 1988, based on the discussion about the nature of sociology, we may define it as scientific study of human interaction and the product of such interaction. How do human beings act and why do they act as they do? First, when sociologists study human behavior, they view it fundamentally as social in nature. Second, in the study of human social behavior, sociology uses the scientific method. As the science of society, sociology studies a wide variety of current issues and problems. Sociology as a science tries to analyze and explain the patterns of group life and discover the basic structure of human society and the forces that lead to social change.
The importance of social science. Social science are generally similar in that they all use the scientific method. The other social sciences is to understand human behavior as this occurs in social life. Sociology in other social sciences is differ in the details and special techniques used according to the subject matter they study.
10 branches of social science: sociology, anthropology, geography, psychology, economics, law, linguistics, archaeology, political science, and history.
Sociology and other social science. The study of social life of people, groups, and societies. Sociology is interested in our behavior as a social being in this way. The beloved field in sociology covers from the analysis of brief interaction between strangers on the way to a study of the process of global societies. This is the sum of example of sociology and other social science: anthropology, geography, psychology, economics, history, political science, and humanities.
It is the scientific study of humanity concerned with the human biology, cultures, societies, and linguistics, both the present and past, including the past human species. The two main divisions that study anthropology are physical anthropology, which means stresses the biological sciences and focuses on the origins and evolutionary aspect of human beings as well as their characteristics. Second is cultural or social anthropology. It means concerned with the study of total societies and includes systems, beliefs, customs, languages, politics, and many related topics.
My topic is all about geography. What is geography? Geography is originated from the Greek word geographia, which means earth description. So geographia is to write about the earth. The word geography is derived from the Greek word geo and graphos. Next is, why are things where they are? Because location is only one piece of the framework of geography, yet it is an important theme because it helps us know and express where things are. Next is sub-interest of geography. Physical geography is the study of land and water features and natural forces responsible for their occurrence. So, there are 7 landforms. Vocabulary words include mountain, hill, cliff, plateau, plain, mesa, and canyon. Water features include lakes, ocean, river, pond, waterfall, gulf, bay, and canal. And natural forces, there are 4 types of invisible pressure consisting of strong and weak nuclear, electromagnetic, and gravitational forces. Next, we have 3 branches of geography. First is mathematical geography, deals with the size, shape, and movement of the earth. The shape of the earth is an oblate period and its radius is 6,371 km. The movement of the earth is rotation and revolution. Next is physiography, seeks to explain the origin and development of landforms. Origin of landform is tectonic plate movement under earth can create landforms by pushing up mountains and hills. The development of landform is youth, maturity, and old age. Lastly, we have climatology, study weather conditions over an extended period of time, and also a study of the atmosphere and weather patterns over time. Other subdivisions are plant geography, soil geography, and animal geography. Human geography is the study of the way human beings live in their physical and cultural environment. It's the branch of geography that is associated and deals with humans and their relationships with communities, cultures, economies, and interactions with the environment. Next is subdivisions of human geography includes. First is economic geography. It studies how the people make a living, concerned with the use of the earth's natural resources. There are 4 branches of economic geography: primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, and quaternary sector. Next is urban geography. It studies cities and towns in relation to their location, sizes, shape, and functions. Generally, define the city as a concentration of people with a similar way of life based on job type, cultural preferences, political views, and lifestyle. A town is generally larger than a village but smaller than a city. Lastly is political geography. It studies the influence of geography on nations, natural interests, and international relations. It is concerned with the study of both the speedily and uneven outcomes of political processes and the ways in which political processes are themselves affected by spatial structures. Next is systematic geography. Keeps the entire world in view while investigating a single element like a landform or climate. Is concerned with individual physical and cultural elements of the earth. Next is regional geography. Focuses attention on a particular region or country. Is the specific unique characteristics of places related to their culture, economy, climate, and environmental factors.
Psychology is the study of human behavior. Psychology is not just limited to mental disorders, counseling, and therapy sessions. It is much more than that. The role of psychology comes into play from the moment you wake up in the morning till you sleep at night. From just communicating others to taking life's toughest decision. Psychology finds its application in almost all aspects of our everyday life. Like for example, you are likely to behave much differently when you are around a group of close friends than you would around a group of colleagues. Psychologists study the behavior of a person. This social science focuses primarily on individual behavior, particularly the mental processes and examination of the mind. Includes the human personality and its development. A psychologist is a professional who studies mental state, perceptual, cognitive, emotional, and social processes as well as behavior. Their work frequently involves experimentation, observation, and interaction of how people interact with one another and with their surroundings. Branch of psychology: social psychology. Social psychology is a new field formed by integrating sociology and psychology. Study the individual or group behavior is influenced by the presence and others' behaviors. Sociology take into consideration the behavior of people and how they relate into others in a group. Study the human social relationship.
Economics. Economics is the study of economic life of human beings and focuses primarily on the various dimensions of work, such as its production, distribution, and consumption. Economics focuses on the behavior and interactions of economic agents and how economics work. Law. By studying law courses, you will acquire the necessary skills to understand different facets of laws and regulation at a national level as well as the global level. It presents you the chance to fathom how the legal system of the country works and its importance as a major institution. Out of all the branches of social science, this one focuses on the laws that govern a country, its main provisions, sections, and how the Constitution guarantees the enforcement of the law in a country. A student will also learn in an in-depth manner about international law, its legal framework, different war crimes, and also the workings of the International Court of Justice, or ICJ.
Linguistic. As the branches of social science analyze the relationship of human beings with the society, linguistic is an indispensable area of study amongst this discipline as it peruses upon how a language is formed, its main origins as well as evolution. It explores the roots of every language, be it official ones or local dialects, and indigenous languages, and understand their role in defining the culture of traditions of a specific society. Archaeology. Archaeology is the study of human past using material remains. These remains can be any objects that people created, modified, or used. Portable remains are usually called artifacts. The importance of archaeology is that it provides us with the opportunity to learn about the past cultures through the study of artifacts, animal bones, and sometimes human bones. Studying these artifacts helps to provide us with some insight about what life was like for people who left behind no written record.
Political science. It is the study of the political science behavior of human beings that focus of the various aspects of government, political institution process, and political parties. Knowledge of the human behavior, political values, good and bad in political theory. In one sense, political theory is a subfield of discipline of political science existing alongside other branches of politics, international relation, and American politics. But in other sense, political theory seems quite unique from the other subfield in that can be regarded as the oldest and most fundamental form of political inquiry. History. This is the study of the chronology of a significant event, people, and place in the past. In this search for underlying that influence human behaviors through uses the sociological approach. This study of Philippine history was revealed data events that would lead toward finding out the reasons for the collective behavior of Muslim in the Mindanao.
Humanities. It emphasizes human subjectivity and dramatizes individual experience. A knowledge of the humanities is important in the development of the complete person who is ready to take on his or her responsibilities in this constantly changing world. On the other hand, the study of sociology is also focuses on the cultures of people in different places. As society evolves, man expresses himself in various ways, particularly in the areas of humanities, art, architectures, dance, and theater. The humanities provide context, visioning the impact of positive and negative. They benefit people by helping of them to think about the considered life and challenges. History of development of sociology. Sociology is composed of two words, socio means society and logy means science. It is called the science of society. The science of society in this case refers to the behavior of any group of organisms living in a common interdependent life through interactions and interrelationship. During the period when Western society sweeping in histrionic changes, sociology is a science is also growing in a part of 18th century. As a discipline, sociology started in Europe in the last 19th century. Scholars began and realized that was such a thing as society and that is called be studied in a society.
My part of the report for today is about Auguste Marie from Severe County. He was born on January 19, 1798 in Montpellier, southern France. He was died on September 5, 1857. Auguste Comte is a French philosopher. He is the father of sociology. Sociology coined was on 1839 and its previous name social physics. Auguste Comte is not just a French philosopher, but a scientist priest. The sociology was once considered as a queen of the science. Comte was also interested in two major social sciences. One is the law of dynamics, and two is the law of statistics. Dynamics, which is the study of social change, and the law of statistics, which is the study of social order.
Auguste Comte was known as a positive philosophy. Sociology course was first taught in United States, Great Britain, France, Poland, India, Egypt, and Mexico.
Forerunners of sociology is Auguste Comte. He is regarded as the father of sociology. Comte first gave the name social physics, science, and invented him, but later he coined the word sociology. He is known for his positive philosophy in 1855. In Comte's hierarchy of science, sociology was considered as the queen of the science and its practitioners, scientists, and priests. Comte uses the method of positivism, emphasizing the techniques of observation, comprehension, and experimentation in the development of knowledge concerning the nature of society and human action. Comte was responsible for the development of a new approach in the study of total or whole societies. Comte was also interested in two major social concerns. One, the law of dynamics, which is the study of social change, and two, the law of statics, which is the study of social order.
English social theorist Harriet Martineau was born on June 12, 1802, Norwich, Norfolk, England. She died on June 27, 1876 at the age of 74 in Ambleside, Westmoreland, England. Harriet Martineau was an English social theorist often seen as the first female sociologist. She wrote from a sociological, holistic, religious, and feminine angle translated works by Auguste Comte. She observed British and American social practices and customs. Society in America on 1837 scrutinized American religion, politics, child rearing, and immigration with emphasis on contemporary society's social problem. She was a feminist and early advocate of women's liberation. She was also interested in religious tolerance and the emancipation of slaves. As one of the first woman journalists of the era, and also referred to as the mother of sociology. Harriet Martineau's work is a mythological treatise on 1839, pre-Civil War America on 1837, on female education in 1821. She wrote and published her first work, An Illustration of Political Economy, 1834, Society in America on 1837, their book on 1839, and The Hour and the Man in 1841, and also she worked as a translator, speechwriter, and novelist.
Let's tackle about English sociologist and philosopher. Herbert Spencer in 1820-1903 was born on April 27, 1820 and died on December 8, 1903. Was an English philosopher, biologist, anthropologist, and sociologist famous for his hypothesis on social Darwinism, whereby superior physical force shapes history. Was heavily influenced by the evolutionary theory of Charles Darwin and emphasized the Darwinianization of natural selection and the survival of the fittest in his analysis of human societal evolution. Herbert Spencer was one of the contributors to sociology and one who did not fail to compel to correct or improve society. Instead, his aim was to enable people to understand society better. He had an organismic view of nature of society. According to him, the major focus of sociology should be social evolution rather than the suggestion and implementation of strategies for social improvement.
David Emile Durkheim, 1858 to 1917. David Emile Durkheim, known as Emile Durkheim, born April 15, 1858 and died November 15, 1917. Emile Durkheim is a son of Rabbi and was educated in France and Germany. A French sociologist and one of the first French professor of sociology. According to him, behavior must be understood and comprehended within a larger social context. The group or society is the central object of sociological study. His theoretical work, Suicide 1897, explained how suicide rate considered as one of the important contribute to sociology. He stressed that the causes of suicide are the cohesiveness or lack of cohesiveness of religious and occupational groups. German sociologist, historian, and political economist Maximilian Karl Emil Weber, known as Max Weber, born April 21, 1864 and died June 14, 1920. Max Weber is a German sociologist, historian, jurist, and political economist regarded as the most important theorist of development of modern society. Took his early academic training in economy and legal history, but gradually developed an interest in sociology. Encouraged his students to use Verstehen, a German word for insight or understanding. To comprehend social behavior, people must understand the meaning attract to their actions. His legacy to sociology is the key conceptual tool, and was recognized as one of the founder of symbolic interactionism, which focuses on social life and human behavior from the standpoint of individuals involved in day-to-day interactions. German philosopher Karl Heinrich Marx, known as Karl Marx, born May 5, 1818, died March 14, 1883. A German philosopher, critic of political economy, economist, historian, sociologist, political theorist, journalist, and socialist revolutionary. He worked primarily in the realm of political philosophy and was a famous advocate of communism. He was one of the earliest and most important proponents of the conflict theory. According to him, the history of civilization is the history of class struggle, and conflict is the main source of social change. Classes, according to him, are always economically based. Opposing interests always arise between those who own and control the means of production and those who do not.
He co-wrote the Communist Manifesto and was the author of Das Kapital, which together form the basis of Marxism. German sociologist Georg Simmel. Simmel was influential in the field of sociology. Simmel was one of the first generation of German sociologists. He was known for creating social theories that fostered an approach to the study of society that broke the then accepted scientific methodology used to examine the natural world. Simmel is widely taught alongside his contemporary Max Weber, as well as Marx and Durkheim in courses in classical social theory.
Sociology in contemporary times. Sociology is relatively discipline. As such, there is so much to learn and discover because there is still much that sociologists have yet to understand about the world around us. Contemporary sociologists reflects the diverse contribution of our early theorists. Major theoretical perspective used by the sociology. The four perspectives used widely by the sociology are the sociological functionalist, conflict ensembles, and interactionist perspective. The sociological perspective. The basic insight of the sociology are the human behavior is shaped by the group to where people belong and by that social interaction that take place from those groups.
American sociologist Charles Coley, 1964-1929. Coley is known in sociology for his contribution to the development of the interactionist perspective and for his development of the looking glass self. He was one of the first to define the importance of society in forming the individual or self and the importance by primary group. So what is Coley's theory? Coley's theory of self is one in which we learn who we are through our interactions with others. So, and what is Coley's theory of looking glass self? It is a process wherein the individuals base their sense of self on how they believe others view them. American activist Jane Addams, 1860-1935. Adam is best known for her pioneering work in the social settlement movement, the radical arm of the progressive movement whose adherents so embrace the ideals of progressivism that they choose to live as neighbor in oppressed communities to learn from and help marginalized members of society. What contribution did Jane Addams make to sociology? In sociology, one of the significant contributions of Jane Addams was the creation of a sociological concept that placed ethics at the center of all sociologist analysis and social life analysis. This concept is essential since it helps cooperate ethics in every sociological and social decision.
Robert Merton. In 1994, Merton became the first sociologist to be awarded the U.S. National Medal of Science for founding the sociology of science and for his pioneering contribution for the study of social life, especially the self-fulfilling prophecy and attendant consequences of social action. Robert Merton was an American sociologist who is considered a founding father of modern sociology and a major contribution of the subfield of criminology. He served as the 47th president of the American Sociological Association. He spent most of his career teaching at the Columbia University. Merton's contribution to sociology falls into three areas. First, sociology of science. Second, sociology of crime and deviance. Last is sociological theory. Self-fulfilling prophecy is a central element in a modern sociological, political, and economic theory. It is a type of process through which a belief or expectation affects the outcome of the situation. The functional perspective is a sociology that views society as a living organism whose contribute to its survival. It's a normative approach to ascribe and predict a group
performances that focuses on the functions of inputs or processes. It is also combine all aspects of society to meet the needs of the individuals in the society.
Talcott Parson. Talcott Parson is regarded by many as 20th century's the most influential American sociologist. He laid the foundation for what was to become a modern functionalist perspective and developed a general theory for the study of society entitled action theory. He also created a theory of functionalism and sociology. He united the clinical psychology and social anthropology to create a rule-based theory on how individuals contribute to the society by being service and playing useful function. A conflict perspective is a perspective in the social sciences that emphasizes the social, political, and material inequality of a social group. It critiques the broad socio-political system, or otherwise, it detracts structural functionalism and ideological conservatism.
So the topic that I've discussed is about the Wave Du Bois and the Firmest theory. So Wave Du Bois in full William Edward Bogart Du Bois, born on February 23, 1868 in Great Barrington, Massachusetts in US. So Wave Du Bois was an American sociologist, socialist, historian, civil rights activist, Pan-Africanist, author, writer, and editor. So Wave Du Bois, the first American, received a PhD from Harvard University. And Du Bois believed that knowledge is a key element to achieve tolerance and justice and to fight prejudice, because Du Bois believed social change could be accomplished only through agitation and protest, and he promoted this view in his writing and his organizing work. He was a pioneering advocate of black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, and he urged his readers to see beauty in black. So that's what Du Bois believed, that we need to see the beauty in black. We don't need to discriminate the black people. So the next is the Firmist theory. So Firmist theory is the theory that argued for a gender-balanced study of society, in which women's contribution and experiences must be visible as men's. It is also the extension of feminism into theoretical, fictional, or philosophical discourse. It aims to understand the nature of gender inequality. So the Firmist theory, the main aims of Firmist theory or Firmist theory is to aim justice and equality for women everywhere, and of course also for the men and children to whom they are inextricably linked. That's the main aim of Firmist or feminist theory, to have an equality of justice of every individual.
The symbolic interactionist perspective. Symbolic interaction is a theatrical approach to understanding the relationship between humans and society. Symbols that are seen by interactionists as important parts of communication. It is also one of the several theories in the social science. According to this theory, people live both in the natural and the symbolic environment. The symbolic interactionist viewpoint is founded on the idea that communication and social interaction, or the interchange of meaning through symbols and language, is how people make sense in their social environment. Moreover, the interactionist theory of inequality examines the way some social roles have more authority or influence than others. For example, a CEO has more authority than the receptionist. That's all for the symbolic interactionist perspective.
Irving Goffman is a Canadian sociologist, social psychologist, and a writer. The dramaturgical approach was proposed by Irving Goffman. It is a type of interactionist method wherein daily life is compared to a stage.
American philosopher and sociologist George Herbert Mead was an American philosopher, sociologist, and psychologist. He is the founder of symbolic interactionist perspective that one of the most important figures in American social sciences. Symbolic interaction perspective is a sociology theory that seeks to understand humans' relationship with their society by focusing on the symbols that help us give meaning to the experiences in our life. Med believe that our thoughts, self-concept, and the wider community we live in are created through the communication, symbolic interaction. Med's sociological analysis concentrated on the development of the self. He proposed that we must learn to take the rules of others in our imagination and discover that others also have selves and know how to see ourselves. He also referred to this as a generalized other where children adopt and internalize the values, attitudes, and behaviors of others. Med's theory of social behaviorism. He believed that people develop images through the interactions with other people. He argued that the self, which is the part of a person's personality, consisting of self-awareness and self-image, is a product of social experience. Example of Med's theory. Med believed that the infants and other young children were not actually influenced by others in any way. Instead, he believed that young children see themselves as being focused of their own world and consequently, they don't really care about what other people think of them.
Carol Brooks Gardner. Carol Brooks Gardner interest was focused in gender issues. She concludes that public places are arenas for the enactment of inequality in everyday life for women and for many others. Gardner also concludes provocative that gender-based public harassment exert a powerful control over women's feelings of comfort in the town and communities where they live and work. As you can see, not only in Philippines, but also in other countries, back then, year of 90s, when men and women are not treated equally because women lack of awareness of their rights and ability to achieve equality. That in year 1995, September 8, President Fidel V. Ramos, Executive Number 273, is the successor of the Philippine Development Plan for Women. Adopted by Executive Number 348 of February 17, 1989. In 1989 to 1992, adopted of Executive Number 348 on February 17, 1982.
Sociological imagination. As described by C. Wright Mills, it is an awareness of the relationship between an individual and the wider society. It is a rare kind of creative thinking that enables sociologists and ordinary people to comprehend man's behavior. It is a significant element in the sociological imagination is the ability of an individual to survey society as an outsider would, rather than from a restricted framework of his or her group's cultural biases and individual experiences.
The importance of sociology. Sociology is important because its study allows us to obtain information about society and the different aspects of life in a factual manner. With the aid of sociological information and inquiry, we are able to understand society more objectively. From this, we develop the capacity to see through some of the folk, traditional and conventional wisdom of our society. Hawthorne and Hunt, 1985. The most important function of sociology, however, is when superstitions and misinformation are replaced by accurate knowledge about human behavior. Nowadays, sociologists have become involved in various research studies. Contemporary sociologists are often employed in universities and works in the center of drug addiction, social and social inequality, poverty and family concerns. However, those who work outside of the academy are employed in government agencies studying issues as population growth, crime, delinquencies, and child welfare. Studying sociology provides a better understanding of the following: reasons for social behavior, reasons for the differential in the groups of opportunities and outcomes, relevance of social hierarchies and social power in everyday life. That's all for the importance of sociology.
What is sociological inquiry? Sociological inquiry is committed to the exploration of the human tradition in all of its social and cultural complexity. Its papers challenge us to look at new traditional areas or identify novel areas for investigation. Sociological inquiry publish both theoretical and empirical work as well as varied research method in the study of social and cultural research. Sociological inquiry is a quarterly peer-reviewed academic journal published by Wiley Blackwell. The journal explores the human condition through a sociological lens. It was established in 1928 as the quarterly and obtained its current title in 1961. What is sociological inquiry? Sociological inquiry is like any scientific activity or like playing a game. First, it has goals to achieve. Second, rules to follow. Third, strategies to work out in order to obtain a high probability of success. In the game, we must do everything to be successful, but if we do not follow the goals to achieve the rules, we will not be successful in our game. So the participants. Participants are people or group of people that are involved in a certain activity. Sociological inquiry or the activity itself has two groups: participants, the players, and the spectators. The players. The scientists are the recipients of the results, the scientist assistant, and the spectator is either interested or disinterested, appreciative, benefited, or unbenefited.
Social action is the way by which human beings interact with each other in social units such as family, the school, and the factory. Its concern goes beyond the study of face-to-face contact. It is also the systematic motivation and behavior of individuals within groups. Social action is more in socializing and meant to be taking steps to change the things that are wrong in our society and introducing new ideas and processes for doing things better in the future. There are some examples of social action. Volunteering. We can also volunteer in teaching the children in the street. Giving money to the people who have needs. Community action or simple neighborly acts. Okay, next. The basic goal of sociological inquiry is to obtain an understanding of observable social world. To understand the aspect of this world, one has to observe phenomena in relation to particular points of time and place and realize how they were, how they are, and how and why they have or have not changed. Kind of sociological inquiry. Observation is the action of process of observing something. For example, like watching your classmate doing experimental or observing the apple fall from a tree. Social survey is a popular research method that consists of a list of questions. Example, interview your classmate by asking them a question. Experimental, informal, personal, and humorous experimentation such as pranks is also referred to as a social experiment.
Step
is a general idea, something, a term referring to all cases of particular class of ideas, events, person, object, relationship, and processes. Hypothesis is a supposition or proposed explanation made on the limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. It is a supposition on what is to be resolved.
Good everyone, our topic for today is all about gathering data. What is gathering data means? Gathering data is to provide a simulation or a model that can be shown to correspond to a certain principle. And the sample of the total population to represent the whole as accurately as possible. And the researcher also chose the techniques to identify and record the data by study. And data can be classified as primary sources and secondary sources. Okay, we talk about first primary sources. What is primary sources? Primary sources is an original object or documents or first-hand information. Eyewitness accounts. Eyewitness accounts, it refers to an account given by people of an event they have witnessed. Documents remains or relies on oral testimonies. Secondary sources. Secondary sources are works that analyze, assess, or interpret on historical event, era, or phenomenon. Report of individuals who refers the testimony. Data provided by an actual participant or witness to an event.
Involve answering question or symposium with facts that have gathered. A test of the validity of the measurements used in a study. A variable is a concept, stands for variation, a class. Or objects such as sex, age, intelligence, climate, achievements, grades, education, socioeconomic status. It is a property that represents different values. It is a symbol to which values or numerals are assigned. Data analysis is the process of systematically applying statistical and or logical techniques to describe and illustrate, condense and recap and evaluate data.
Independent variables. Independent variables is a stimulus variables capable of affecting change in another variables. Independent variables influence the value of other variable. Dependent variable are influenced in the value of other variables. Dependent variable, presumed effect of the independent variable, also called the outcome variable. Moderator variables manipulated, measured, or selected by the researcher to discover whether it modifies in the relationship of the independent variables. Control variables, whose effect must be neutralized or controlled. Extra care must be observed when controlling these variables. Intervening variables, this factor which theoretically affects the observed phenomenon but cannot be seen, measured, or manipulated. A. Introduction. It summarizes all the expected main findings which are checked against originally stated hypotheses and conveys a lot of information to the readers. B. Findings. Tables, charts, figures, graphs, and picture can be used as effective aids for understanding of the results and likewise for its interpretation. C. Conclusion. The conclusion may include the study's limitation and point out other areas for further or new research.
Methodological design, techniques and tools used in sociological inquiry. The first is a sample survey method. A sample survey is a method for collecting data from or about the members of a population so that the inferences about the interpopulation can be obtained from a subset or sample of the population members. The sample survey have the three most common types of surveys. They are the mail surveys, telephone surveys, and personal interview surveys. The second is the case study method. Case studies involve analysis of small data sets, such as one or two companies, that may lead the researcher to gain some insights about the relevant industries. Case studies use techniques such as personal interviews, direct observation, psychometric tests, and archival records to gather information. They are used to explore causation in order to find underlying principles. For example, a case study about the Mitsubishi Car Company might be used to generalize about similar companies in the automobile industry. The third is the cohort study method. Cohort design is a type of non-experimental or observational study design. In a cohort study, the participants do not have the outcome of interest to begin with. They are selected based on the exposure status of the individual. They are then followed over time to evaluate for the occurrence of the outcome of interest. These are some examples of cohort study. First is the Framingham cohort study. Second, the Swiss HIV cohort study. And last, the Danish cohort study of psoriasis and depression. These studies may be prospective, retrospective, or a combination of both of these types. So, what are cohort studies used for? It is used to study incidents, causes, and prognosis. Because they measure events in chronological order, they can be used to distinguish between cause and effect.
Interview. Interview are used to collect data from a small group of subjects on a broad range of topics. You can use structured or unstructured interview. Structured interview are comparable to a questionnaire with the same question and same order for each question and with multiple choice answer. For example, you're applying a job and the CEO are going to interview you and ask some question about yourself and the job. There are two types of interview. First is structured interview. A structured interview is a type of interview in which the interviewer asks a particular set of predetermined questions and standardized order. For example question: what most excites you about this role? Second, tell me how would you handle specific job challenge. Third, give me sample of time you had to. Unstructured interview. An unstructured interview is a data collection method that relies on asking participant questions to collect data on a topic. An unstructured interview is just like structured interview. You can also do it on internet. Also known as non-directive interviewing, unstructured interview do not have set pattern and questions are not arranged in advance, but adapt spontaneity when gathering relevant information from the respondent in the line with the purpose of the information.
Questionnaire is another way or method to secure answers to questions that were written down. A questionnaire is a research instrument that consists of a set of questions for the purpose of gathering information from respondents through survey or statistical study. It also offers a fast, efficient, and inexpensive means of gathering large amounts of information from sizable sample volumes. Quasi-experimental method is a method of inquiry where a number of variables are used, holding them constant except one.
the effect of which is being tested. Although it is similar to experimental research in that there is manipulation of an independent variable. It differs from experimental research because either there is no control group, no random selection, no random assignment, and or no random or no active manipulation.
Number 7. Participatory research. Participatory research is both a range of method and an ideological perspective. Its fundamental principles are that the subjects of the research became involved as partners in the process of the inquiry, and that their knowledge and capabilities are respected and valued. Number 8. Longitudinal method. The study of a variable or group of variables in the same cases or participants over a period of time, sometimes several years. Longitudinal studies employ continuous or repeated measures to follow particular individuals over a prolonged period of time, often years or decades.
Cross-sectional method. Cross-sectional study design is a type of observational study design. A cross-sectional study looks at data at a single point in time. The participants in this type of study are selected based on particular variables of interest. Cross-sectional studies are often in use developmental psychology, but this method is also used in many other areas, including social science and education.
Naturalistic observation method is a method that involves observing subjects in their natural environment. Cross-cultural method, a research method in which specific social practices such as courtship, behavior, child-rearing practices, or therapeutic attitudes and techniques are studied and compared across a number of different cultures. And that's all. Thank you for all watching.